everything. Something about your love, something about your love changes everything, changes everything. Something about your love, something about your love changes everything, changes everything. Something about your love, something about your love changes everything, changes everything. Something about your love, something about your love changes everything. You turn my morning into dancing. 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 'Cause your love changes everything. Your love changes everything. You turn my morning into dancing. You turn my morning into dancing. You turn my morning into dancing. 'Cause your love changes everything. Your love changes everything. Oh, there's something about your love, something about your love changes everything in my body. Oh, something about your love, something about your love changes everything. It changes everything. Something about your love, something about your love changes everything. It changes everything. Something about your love, something about your love changes everything, changes everything. Something about your love, something about your love changes everything. Something about your love, something about your love changes everything, changes everything. Something about your love, something about your love changes everything, changes everything. Something about your love, something about your love changes everything. You turn my morning into dancing. 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 Something about your love, something about your love changes everything.
Good morning, Rooted Men. Pastor Tom, Firmly Rooted Ministries. Happy Monday morning. Good to be with all of you. I'm getting it done here at the house. Last couple of days, I haven't felt very well, and I want to thank the amazing people at Firmly Rooted at Oxford that prayed over me. Something happened yesterday. I got endurance and perseverance to get through the service, and so physically I was helped, certainly, and blessed by God. But the whole thing, the whole sermon altered a bit. The tone of it was different than I even thought in my head all week. So I hope that was necessary. I hope that the service was a blessing to you. We are in the Gospel of Mark, and we're looking at what we looked at last week, which is the last week of Jesus's life, or 2 weeks ago. And so let's say hi to a few people, and then we'll get going. And I just want to make sure that my video and audio are working okay. Chuck B, good morning, men. Ken, good morning, fellow brothers in arms. Chris, good morning. My cousin, Dave Donnelly, good morning. I'm out there. Okay. Bert Reggiani, good morning. Eric, good morning. Ruth says hi. Ruth,
Get over there.
come say hi to Eric. Edic, say hi, Edic.
Hi.
There we go. All right. Steve, good morning. I love teasing Ruth. I mean, it's like a gift. Chris Connolly, sound and video is good. Okay. All right, let me pull up the text, guys, and we're going to be looking at something that we've looked at already, but you're going to see why, especially an important week like the last week of Jesus's life, is that one gospel alone is incomplete. No one gospel tells all the story. No one gospel has all the 7 things that Jesus says from the cross. We need all 4 gospels to get a clear picture of what happened, and you'll see that as we go through Mark chapter 14. So Jesus' arrest. We know that Judas left just prior to the Lord's Supper being created, and he conspired with religious leaders to get some soldiers, and he knew that they could all get Jesus, not the next day when he comes to the temple, to get him at night in Gethsemane. So the crowds aren't there, so nobody else is involved. So just as he was speaking, Judas, one of the 12, appeared at the Garden of Gethsemane. With him was a crowd armed with swords and clubs, sent from the chief priests, the teachers of the law, and the elders. The religious leaders want Jesus done. Amazing. Now the betrayer had arranged a signal to them. The one I kiss is the man. Arrest him and lead him away under guard. The one I kiss. It's not so much an American custom, but in the Jewish custom, that kiss is not just a romantic kiss that a husband and wife might have. You kissed because you were in one mind, one faith, one hope, same God. That the kiss was a unity. It was an expression of unity. So the kissing, even men, on the sides of the cheek was this kind of like, we're brothers. Even though we're not biologically brothers, we're brothers. And Judas chooses, as a friend of Jesus, to use this method to identify him and to betray him. Going at once to Jesus, Judas said, "Rabbi," and kissed him. The men seized Jesus and arrested him. Then one of them, we know Peter, standing near, drew a sword and cut the servant of the high priest, cutting off his ear. Jesus says, am I leading a rebellion? It's a really amazing question. Because it appears that you guys are leading a rebellion. I'm a rabbi that showed up and began to teach and perform miracles in the temple, which is exactly what's supposed to be happening. Am I leading a rebellion? Jesus said. That you have come out with swords and clubs to capture me? Every day, I was with you teaching in the temple courts. And you did not arrest me then. When you were questioning me and challenging me, you never arrested me then in front of all the people. But the scriptures must be fulfilled. The scriptures must be fulfilled. Jesus is watching the scriptures that he inspired being fulfilled in his very last hours of his life. Then everyone deserted him and fled. No mention that the ear was healed, I don't think. Just that it's cut it off. We got to go to another gospel to find out that he healed it. A young man wearing nothing but a linen garment was following Jesus, and when they seized him, he fled naked, leaving his garment behind. So there was an attempt to even gather or capture some of the disciples, but God made sure that not one of them would be taken, because that also fulfills an Old Testament prophecy. Who's the young man? Most likely Mark, the author. He's telling everyone that he also fled in fear and fled naked. Imagine what the disciples are going through. Jesus knows what's happening. Jesus is making sure that he is going to be crucified on the day of the Passover. He's making sure it's going to happen. Against all the wishes of the religious leaders, it's going to happen the way Jesus wants it to happen. They are not in control. These soldiers are not in control. It's not mentioned in Mark that they all fell back when Jesus asked, "Who are you seeking? Who are you looking for?" So just an appreciation, and that maybe we should do more of the gospel, looking at all four gospels like we do for the last week of Jesus' life. I'm wondering if that might be a benefit, excuse me, in the future. Because this isn't the only place that you need all four gospels to get the whole picture. All right, let me pull myself out of this screen. All right, very good. You can hear in the background, Tommy wants Bappa. So I'm going to go hang out with him and give him a hug. Guys, have a blessed Monday morning. Make it a great day. Have a firmly rooted day. And may someone see Jesus in us today. Peace.